From October 17th to November 16th, 2025, the Sun will transit through the sign of Libra, its sign of debilitation. This marks a phase where themes of humility, diplomacy, and compromise take focus, teaching us to balance personal ambition with cooperation and harmony. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on sidereal or Vedic astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. During this period, the Sun will conjunct Mars and Mercury, forming an intense yet thought-provoking alignment that amplifies fiery expression, sharp intellect, and assertive communication. The Sun's debilitation indicates that these energies must be handled with awareness, patience, and emotional balance to prevent ego clashes and communication breakdowns. The transits this month is quite eventful. Jupiter makes a significant ingress into Cancer on October 18th, strengthening emotional intelligence and nurturing qualities on a collective level. Meanwhile, Saturn continues its retrograde motion in Pisces, asking for introspection and restructuring of long-term goals. Rahu remains in Aquarius and Ketu in Leo, highlighting the ongoing karmic axis between individuality and collaboration. Venus, the ruler of Libra, is debilitated in Virgo during the initial phase of the transit, creating a challenging start where relationships, partnerships, and self-worth may be tested. When Venus enters Libra on November 2nd, joining the Sun, it brings a wave of harmony, reconciliation, and creative renewal. This planetary shift can mark a turning point where relationship and self-esteem issues begin to ease, and balance is restored. In astrology, the Sun represents one's soul, ego, authority, confidence, father, and vitality. It signifies how we assert ourselves in the world and how we derive a sense of purpose and recognition. Libra, on the other hand, is the seventh sign of the zodiac, symbolizing relationships, partnership, diplomacy, and the art of maintaining equilibrium between opposing forces. When the radiant Sun enters this area of Venusian domain, it encounters an environment that asks for compromise rather than control, understanding rather than dominance. Hence, Sun's natural self-centered energy becomes subdued, and the focus shifts toward cooperation, balance, and emotional sensitivity. Sun's debilitation in Libra marks the point where personal ego meets the demand for equality and collaboration. This is the weakest point for the Sun, as the kingly planet finds itself in a place where its individuality is tested. The reason behind this debilitation lies in the very essence of Libra. Relationships require humility, adjustment, and shared decision-making, while the Sun thrives on self-assertion and authority. Therefore, when the Sun travels through Libra, individuals often experience moments of self-doubt, lowered self-esteem, or confusion regarding their goals and identity. It can create challenges in relationships with authority figures, including the father or superiors, and may bring temporary setbacks in career matters. Yet, these challenges serve a higher purpose, to teach the value of teamwork, emotional intelligence, and the art of relating without losing one's individuality. The presence of Mars and Mercury alongside the Sun in Libra adds a complex dynamic. Sun-Mars-Mercury conjunctions amplify courage, passion, and persuasive communication, but also risk heated arguments, impulsive speech, and overexertion. This alignment can energize careers related to law, leadership, advocacy, and consulting, where intellect and assertiveness must work hand in hand. Because the Sun is weak here, individuals may need to consciously manage frustration, avoid power struggles, and maintain humility in professional and personal interactions. Mercury's move into Scorpio on October 24th and Mars's entry into Scorpio on October 27th will slowly dissolve this fiery conjunction, allowing for deeper reflection and emotional clarity as the month progresses. When Venus enters Libra in November, it will form a conjunction with the debilitated Sun, creating the potential for Nichabhanga Raja Yoga, a planetary cancellation of debilitation. This can dramatically improve situations related to career, confidence, and relationships, transforming weakness into wisdom. The Sun-Venus conjunction also highlights the eternal conflict between ego and love, where learning to let go of pride becomes the key to maintaining harmony. During this phase, many may rediscover creative talents, rekindle partnerships, or realign their goals with more refined aesthetic or spiritual values. On a collective level, the Sun's journey through Libra invites the world to prioritize diplomacy over dominance and cooperation over conflict. It is a time when governments, corporations, and communities may face moral tests requiring balance, fairness, and justice. Personal relationships will mirror similar dynamics, where ego-driven tendencies can lead to discord, while understanding and empathy can restore peace. This period encourages everyone to introspect on how they manage power within relationships, whether they use it to control or to empower others. Wherever the Sun goes in transit for 1 month, our soul and our focus go into things related to that house. A person will feel gravitated, motivated, or even forced to take up things related to the house where the sun is moving. Likewise, if the sun is transiting over any significant natal planets in your chart, especially your moon, Mars, or Jupiter, those themes will activate prominently in your life. It's essential to look at dignity of planets to derive precise outcomes. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Mahadasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining the Sun's Ashtakavarga score in Libra. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Sun's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Sun dasha periods may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, the Sun governs the 5th house, the area of creativity, intelligence, education, children, romance, and self-expression. As it moves into Libra, your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, business collaborations, and public dealings, your focus shifts from individuality to cooperation and shared goals. Since Libra is the Sun's sign of debilitation, this transit may test your confidence, emotional balance, and approach to relationships. Progress will come through humility, patience, and emotional intelligence rather than assertiveness or ego. The 7th house represents the other, spouse, partner, clients, and the public. With the Sun debilitated here, ego clashes or misunderstandings may arise in close ties. You may feel unacknowledged or overshadowed, questioning your role within relationships or professional alliances. The lesson is to balance self-expression with understanding. Relationships will strengthen when mutual respect outweighs dominance. As ruler of your 5th house, the Sun signifies intelligence, creativity, and decision-making. Its presence in the 7th connects these qualities with partnerships, suggesting creativity now flows best through collaboration or teamwork. Those in advisory, media, or creative professions may experience heightened interaction with clients or audiences. Yet, because the Sun is weak here, harmony is essential. Overassertion or the need for validation can create friction. Let ideas grow through dialogue rather than control. This phase becomes more dynamic as the Sun joins Mars and Mercury in Libra. Mars, your sign lord, enhances drive and leadership, while Mercury rules logic and communication. Together, this trio intensifies mental energy but may spark conflict if handled impulsively. Your speech could become sharp, and your need to prove a point might cause friction in negotiations or relationships. The Sun-Mars combination heightens competitiveness, while Mercury adds quick thinking but also impatience. If you work in law, consulting, or sales, watch your tone. Diplomacy will yield better results than confrontation. Mercury's shift into Scorpio on October 24th begins to ease tension, deepening your emotional awareness and improving communication. You'll be able to reflect more and react less. Mars' move into Scorpio on October 27th activates your 8th house, pushing transformation through introspection and emotional courage. Until then, Mars in Libra may keep you restless and eager for validation in relationships. Venus, the ruler of Libra, plays a major role in shaping this transit's tone. At the start, Venus remains in Virgo, its sign of debilitation, which can make relationships feel strained or overly critical. Both the Sun and Venus being weakened can heighten sensitivity, dissatisfaction, or nitpicking in partnerships. You might feel emotionally unfulfilled or overly analytical about your partner's words and actions. Financial collaborations may also experience temporary imbalance or confusion. Relief arrives after November 2nd, when Venus enters Libra, its own sign, joining the Sun. This shift restores harmony, charm, and affection in relationships. It also cancels the Sun's debilitation, forming a Nichabanga Raja Yoga. Gradually, tensions ease, and cooperation improves. Personal and professional connections regain flow, reconciliation or fresh starts become easier. You may find joy in teamwork, creative endeavors, or mutual goals that reflect shared purpose. In the broader context, Saturn continues its retrograde in Pisces, your 12th house. This ongoing influence encourages introspection and emotional cleansing, letting go of attachments that no longer align with your deeper truth. It supports the Sun's lesson in Libra, finding inner peace rather than external validation. Jupiter's move into Cancer on October 18th brings comfort through home, family, and emotional grounding. Its support to your 4th house fosters understanding and maturity, helping you manage relationship challenges with greater empathy. Career-wise, the Sun's presence in your 7th house amplifies visibility, but also brings tests. Entrepreneurs may encounter disagreements with partners about leadership or decisions. Employees could face friction with clients or superiors due to miscommunication. The first half of this transit calls for restraint and clear dialogue. As Venus strengthens in Libra after November 2nd, collaboration and negotiation become smoother, allowing progress in business alliances and public image. The key is to remain composed and cooperative even when others seem demanding or unresponsive. For those seeking recognition, patience is essential. Since the Sun signifies authority, you may temporarily feel unseen or undervalued. Once Venus's harmony restores balance, your efforts will gain appreciation. Those in artistic, media, or consulting fields can especially benefit from joint projects or collaborations that highlight both individuality and partnership. Health-wise, since the Sun represents vitality and the 7th house governs the lower back region, pay attention to posture, fatigue, or stress-related issues. The Sun and Mars combination can raise body heat, potentially causing inflammation, blood pressure spikes, or dehydration if you overwork yourself. Prioritize rest, balanced meals, and moderate exercise. Emotionally, this transit is a reminder that real strength lies in balance. The debilitated Sun in Libra teaches humility and compromise. That leadership also means listening, and influence grows when shared. You may realize that some relationships mirror your own inner imbalances, urging you to release control and nurture cooperation. Spiritually, this period encourages the integration of opposites, self and other, giving and receiving, pride and vulnerability. As Mars and Mercury move on to Scorpio later in October, your perspective deepens. You may find yourself drawn to understanding your own emotional motivations more profoundly. Intimate partnerships can become a mirror for your inner transformation, helping you shed old patterns of control or defensiveness. The second half of the transit, when Venus joins the Sun in Libra, marks a significant shift from tension to harmony. You might experience more affection, understanding, and teamwork in personal and professional life. This is an ideal time to resolve past misunderstandings, reconnect with loved ones, or start creative or partnership-based ventures. Public recognition may also rise as your diplomatic side shines through. Meanwhile, Saturn's presence in the 12th and Jupiter's strength in the 4th create a grounding backdrop, supporting emotional maturity and long-term stability. These transits help you view relationships not as battles of ego, but as pathways for mutual evolution and soul growth. By embracing compassion and accountability, you align your outer actions with your inner peace. Overall, the Sun's transit through Libra brings a shift from me to we. For Aries, this 1-month period emphasizes cooperation, humility, and balance in all partnerships, romantic, professional, and social. The early phase may feel challenging, with emotional friction and ego sensitivity heightened by Venus's debilitation and the fiery Sun-Mars-Mercury mix. Yet, as Venus re-enters Libra, peace and equilibrium return, uplifting your confidence and relationships alike. By the end of this phase, you emerge wiser, emotionally steadier, and better equipped to nurture partnerships that reflect your authentic strength and mutual respect. For Taurus, the Sun governs the 4th house of home, comfort, emotional peace, property, vehicles, and inner stability. When the Sun transits through Libra, it moves into the 6th house, the house of work, service, health, competition, enemies, and daily responsibilities. This combination of the 4th Lord and the 6th house naturally shifts the focus from emotional comfort to practical responsibilities. This period can feel like a period of imbalance, where you may need to temporarily set aside comfort or personal peace to handle work challenges, health issues, or stressful obligations. Because Libra is the sign of balance and the Sun is debilitated here, this transit teaches the importance of managing pressure gracefully, maintaining emotional equilibrium while navigating competitive or demanding circumstances. The Sun's placement in Libra indicates a time when your inner strength and confidence might fluctuate. The 4th Lord, Sun, in the 6th house creates a karmic lesson around maintaining calm and control under stress. You may feel that others are challenging your authority or questioning your decisions, especially in professional or domestic matters. Workplace politics, rivalry, or the need to prove your competence could arise. The 6th house also signifies improvement through effort, so while the process may be tiring, it's also deeply rewarding. Success will depend on how you handle pressure and how diplomatically you respond to competition. The debilitated Sun reminds you that humility, teamwork, and patience will work better now than confrontation or pride. During this period, the Sun will conjunct Mars and Mercury in Libra. This triple conjunction can create an intense mental and physical atmosphere. Mars, the ruler of your 7th and 12th houses, adds a fiery, action-oriented drive, while Mercury, the ruler of your 2nd and 5th houses, brings sharp intellect and communication. Together, these planets amplify mental sharpness and ambition but can also heighten stress, impulsiveness, and overanalysis. You may find yourself juggling multiple responsibilities at once, managing family, work, and personal health all together. There can be a tendency to react quickly or speak harshly under pressure, especially at the workplace or within partnerships. Maintaining calm communication will be important. Because Mars and Sun both represent energy and authority, their conjunction in the 6th house can give victory over competition, but only if your actions are guided by discipline and self-restraint. The 6th house also governs health, and since the debilitated Sun affects vitality, this transit asks for careful attention to your physical and emotional well-being. Issues related to digestion, stress, blood pressure, or inflammation could surface, especially if you overwork or suppress rest. The presence of Mars increases physical heat and restlessness, so it's advisable to stay hydrated, moderate caffeine or spice intake, and practice mindfulness to balance the fiery energy. The 4th house connection also means mental peace is vital for your overall health. Creating small routines of relaxation, such as spending time with family, listening to calming music, or meditating, can go a long way in restoring balance. Mercury's involvement in this conjunction can be both a challenge and a blessing. It helps you strategize effectively, manage multiple tasks, and communicate efficiently, especially in work-related areas. Mercury in Libra tends to avoid conflict by overthinking or overanalyzing situations, and with the Sun debilitated, there may be confusion about how to express authority without seeming aggressive. You may also face miscommunication or misunderstandings with coworkers or subordinates. On October 24th, Mercury will move into Scorpio, your 7th house, shifting the mental focus toward partnerships and one-on-one discussions. This movement can help clarify relationship dynamics, allowing for more direct and honest communication after a phase of tension. Mars will follow Mercury into Scorpio on October 27th, activating the 7th house of relationships, business partnerships, and public image. This shift eases the intensity in the 6th house and redirects your energy toward external interactions. Professionally, you might find new collaborations or client relationships emerging. Personally, you may have to balance assertiveness with understanding in partnerships. Another major influence during this time is Venus, the ruler of your 1st house and the 6th house's sign, Libra. Currently, Venus is transiting Virgo, its sign of debilitation, which weakens both physical comfort and emotional ease. Because the Sun and Venus are both debilitated simultaneously, the first half of this transit period may feel frustrating, with dissatisfaction in personal life or discomfort in your living environment. Financial issues related to home, property, or vehicles could surface, and emotional fatigue may increase. There's an interesting planetary exchange occurring between Venus and Mercury, Venus in Mercury's sign, Virgo, and Mercury in Venus's sign, Libra. This Parivartana Yoga creates a mutual link that softens the negative effects of debilitation. It can bring practical solutions to relationship or health challenges through rational discussion, problem solving, and patience. On November 2nd, Venus enters Libra, its own sign, joining the Sun. This marks a clear turning point where things start to improve. The Sun's debilitation gets partially cancelled, Nichabhanga Raja Yoga, due to the conjunction with a strong Venus. You may experience a gradual return of confidence, better health, and improved harmony in both home and workplace. Relationships with coworkers, clients, and even family members begin to smooth out. This is an excellent time to settle disputes, make peace with people you've had disagreements with, or resolve property and domestic concerns. The presence of Venus in its own sign restores charm, grace, and social magnetism, helping you express yourself more harmoniously after a stressful phase. From a larger perspective, the background influences of Saturn and Jupiter add depth to this period. Saturn retrogrades in Pisces, your 11th house, bringing a slow review of your long-term goals, friendships, and ambitions. It may delay rewards or social recognition but encourages steady progress and disciplined planning. Jupiter's transit is particularly beneficial now, as on October 18th, it enters Cancer, your 3rd house. Jupiter here enhances courage, creativity, communication, and your ability to take initiative. It provides emotional nourishment after a period of self-doubt and supports learning or self-expression. With Jupiter in a supportive trine to your first house, your decisions gradually align with wisdom and emotional clarity. Overall, the Sun's transit in Libra for Taurus individuals is a phase that highlights service, humility, and perseverance. It tests emotional endurance and teaches you to handle pressure without losing composure. Though the first half of the period may feel heavy due to the dual debilitation of the Sun and Venus, things shift significantly once Venus enters Libra. Professional matters begin to stabilize, health improves, and emotional satisfaction slowly returns. The challenges you face now are meant to build your resilience, to teach that real confidence isn't loud or controlling but grounded, composed, and compassionate. For Gemini, the Sun rules the third house, the domain of communication, courage, initiative, short travels, and creative expression. When the Sun transits through Libra, it moves into your fifth house, the house of intelligence, creativity, children, romance, education, and speculative gains. This period will be a time where the focus shifts strongly toward creative pursuits, self-expression, and emotional connection. Because the Sun is debilitated in Libra, it will not be at its full strength, which means these areas of life may demand patience, balance, and humility. The third lord in the fifth house generally supports intellectual creativity and self-driven effort, but the debilitation of the Sun suggests that overconfidence, ego, or emotional restlessness could lead to temporary discouragement or creative blockages. The Sun in Libra highlights themes of balance and diplomacy. This is the sign of Venus, beauty, refinement, and relationships, and when the fiery Sun enters this air sign, its self-assertive nature becomes subdued. For Gemini individuals, this can manifest as a temporary dip in motivation or clarity regarding personal goals, especially in creative or educational pursuits. You might second-guess your decisions, feel uncertain about your creative direction, or struggle to express yourself freely. In romantic matters, too, there can be hesitation or self-doubt. Yet, this very process is an essential part of growth. The Sun's debilitation in Libra teaches the soul to express from the heart, not from pride, and to learn the value of cooperation in love and creativity. This transit also highlights your relationship with children if you are a parent, or your connection with young people in general. The debilitated Sun can bring temporary misunderstandings or emotional distance in this area, but it also invites more patience and compassion. Instead of trying to control or instruct, this is a period to listen, guide gently, and create an environment of understanding. In matters of romance, the Sun in Libra may bring a more reflective tone. You may feel emotionally vulnerable, longing for validation or deeper emotional connection, yet unsure of how to express those feelings. Since Libra is an air sign, communication remains the key. Honesty and openness can prevent unnecessary confusion. During this transit, the Sun will conjunct Mars and Mercury in Libra. This triple conjunction can be both inspiring and exhausting. Mars, the ruler of your 6th and 11th houses, adds energy, ambition, and competitiveness, while Mercury, your sign lord and ruler of the 4th house, brings intellect, logic, and communication into play. Together, they create a high level of mental activity, ideas, and creative drive. With the Sun being weak and Mars strong, there may be an inner conflict between confidence and anxiety, a feeling of wanting to push forward but doubting your strength. You may also feel more reactive, especially in conversations or romantic interactions, since Mars' fiery influence can make you impatient or argumentative. This combination can also manifest in your creative or professional life as intense brainstorming, new projects, or learning experiences. If you are a student, artist, teacher, or content creator, this period can be highly productive, but only if you manage stress and avoid perfectionism. The presence of Mercury in Libra enhances your ability to think aesthetically and express ideas attractively. But because the Sun is debilitated, recognition may come more slowly. It's best to focus on the process, not immediate outcomes. On October 24th, Mercury will move into Scorpio, your 6th house, marking a shift toward practical work, problem-solving, and daily routines. This change can relieve some of the mental restlessness caused by the triple conjunction in Libra. You'll find it easier to apply your ideas in tangible ways, especially in work or service-oriented activities. Mars will follow Mercury into Scorpio on October 27th, further strengthening your focus, discipline, and competitive spirit. Once Mars leaves Libra, the emotional intensity surrounding creativity and relationships will ease, allowing you to feel more grounded. Another key factor during this period is Venus, the ruler of Libra and hence the lord of the 5th house. Currently, Venus is transiting Virgo, its sign of debilitation. This means that both the Sun and its host planet Venus are debilitated simultaneously, creating a somewhat delicate atmosphere for matters related to love, self-expression, and creativity. You may feel emotionally dissatisfied or uninspired for a while, or you might find that efforts in romance or creative projects do not bring the expected results. Since Venus governs both the 5th and 12th houses for Gemini, this period could also bring introspection about emotional boundaries, spiritual growth through love, or subconscious romantic longings. On November 2nd, Venus enters Libra, its own sign, and joins the Sun. This marks a turning point in the transit, a moment of healing and renewal. The Sun's debilitation is partly cancelled through Nichabanga Raja Yoga, bringing a gradual return of confidence, inspiration, and harmony. Love matters begin to flow more naturally, and your creative energy regains strength. This phase is excellent for artistic pursuits, self-expression, and romance. If you had been facing creative stagnation or uncertainty earlier, new ideas now emerge effortlessly. This planetary alignment also enhances charm, magnetism, and your ability to connect with others meaningfully. Amid these inner transformations, Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, your 10th house of career and public image. This creates a reflective period regarding your long-term professional goals. It may slow down career progress temporarily but encourages a more disciplined approach toward ambition. Saturn's retrograde influence, while serious, helps ground you amidst emotional fluctuations caused by the Sun's debilitation. It asks you to maintain focus on responsibility, even as you navigate creative or emotional challenges. Jupiter's movement is especially significant now. On October 18th, Jupiter enters Cancer, your 2nd house. This shift is deeply supportive for Gemini individuals. It enhances emotional stability, family harmony, and financial growth. Jupiter in Cancer, its sign of exaltation, nurtures your sense of security and values. This benefic transit can help you handle the Sun's weaker phase with wisdom and calm. While emotional vulnerability may surface due to the Sun in Libra, Jupiter's energy reminds you to act from compassion rather than pride, to build stability through patience and understanding. Financially, the 5th house relates to speculative gains and investments. With the Sun debilitated and Mars involved, caution is advised. Avoid impulsive investments or risky ventures, as ego-driven decisions could lead to losses. After November 2nd, when Venus regains strength in Libra, financial matters related to creativity, education, or children may improve noticeably. Overall, the Sun's transit through Libra for Gemini individuals represents a transformative period of introspection, creativity, and emotional learning. The early phase may feel uncertain or emotionally taxing, especially in matters of love, self-expression, or creative direction. The debilitated Sun asks you to quiet the ego and embrace emotional sensitivity. As the days progress and both Mercury and Mars move into Scorpio, mental clarity and discipline will replace confusion. By early November, when Venus enters Libra, the energy softens, bringing relief, creative revival, and smoother emotional expression. For Cancer, the Sun governs the 2nd house, the area of wealth, speech, values, and family stability. When it transits through Libra, it moves into your 4th house, associated with home, mother, comfort, and emotional grounding. This becomes an introspective period urging reflection on emotional fulfillment, relationships, and your sense of belonging. Because the Sun is debilitated in Libra, it may temporarily weaken confidence or inner balance, making you more sensitive to family or domestic issues. Balancing personal comfort with outer responsibilities will be a key theme. The 2nd Lord's transit into the 4th house usually links material security with emotional peace, reinforcing the connection between wealth and contentment. Yet, the Sun's debilitation can blur clarity in these areas, causing dissatisfaction or emotional fatigue. You may feel detached from family or burdened by household duties. Maintaining harmony at home could feel challenging if pride, ego, or differing opinions disturb understanding. Relationships with your mother or elders may require extra patience. Practicing humility and empathy will help you sustain peace during this sensitive time. Libra, a Venus-ruled air sign, emphasizes balance, diplomacy, and cooperation. The Sun's movement here tests your ability to harmonize ego with understanding. You may desire appreciation or validation from loved ones, yet find it elusive. This teaches you emotional independence, learning to anchor peace within rather than seeking it externally. The period may also bring overlap between domestic and professional life, demanding equal attention to home and work. The Sun's authoritative nature softens in Libra, reminding you that nurturing relationships through warmth and flexibility is more rewarding than control or dominance. Throughout this transit, the Sun conjoins Mars and Mercury in Libra, forming a mentally dynamic but emotionally charged alignment in your 4th house. Mars, ruling your 5th and 10th houses, brings ambition and drive, while Mercury, ruling your 3rd and 12th houses, sharpens thought and communication. Together, these energies make you proactive about home and property, perhaps initiating renovations, relocations, or major family discussions. Mars can also heat emotions, making tempers rise quickly. Domestic peace may fluctuate if impatience or pride colors communication. Since the 4th house governs emotional stability, consciously maintaining calm becomes vital. Mercury's presence aids logic and problem-solving, yet when paired with a debilitated Sun and fiery Mars, it can overstimulate the mind, leading to overthinking or restlessness. You may analyze emotions excessively or struggle to relax. Mercury's mutual exchange with Venus, Parivartana Yoga, with Mercury in Libra and Venus in Virgo, offers temporary relief. This connection softens the double debilitation of Sun and Venus by promoting understanding through communication. It encourages reconciliation and reasoned dialogue, helping resolve family misunderstandings through calm, honest expression. During the early phase of this transit, Venus, Libra's ruler and dispositor of the Sun, travels through Virgo, its sign of debilitation. With both Sun and Venus weakened, harmony, comfort, and peace may feel out of reach. Financial or family worries could surface, and property matters might face delays or confusion. Venus's debilitation can make emotional expression overly critical or perfectionistic, heightening tension in relationships. Because Venus governs your 4th and 11th houses, mood swings and doubts about social or emotional support are likely. The Mercury-Venus exchange mentioned earlier brings subtle support. It reminds you that patience and dialogue can resolve emotional challenges. This is a time to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Then, on November 2nd, Venus enters Libra, its own sign, joining the debilitated Sun. This alignment forms Nichabhanga Raja Yoga, partially canceling the Sun's debilitation and restoring balance. Harmony gradually returns to home and relationships, and financial or property matters start to improve. Family warmth, comfort, and beauty increase, making early November ideal for home improvements or heartfelt reunions. Emotional peace strengthens as Venus's energy revives optimism and compassion. Meanwhile, Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, your 9th house, adds a spiritual undertone to this period. It pushes introspection about beliefs, long-term purpose, and moral values. You may question how much your emotional responses are guided by wisdom versus attachment or fear. Saturn here encourages maturity and realism, reminding you to view temporary conflicts from a broader perspective. It helps you ground emotional decisions in faith and patience, building resilience through self-discipline and clarity. Jupiter enters Cancer on October 18th, your 1st house, marking one of the most auspicious shifts of 2025. Jupiter's presence in your 1st house infuses optimism, wisdom, and emotional renewal. It strengthens self-confidence and offers divine protection amid emotional turbulence. You may feel spiritually aligned and mentally clearer, able to manage family matters with calm understanding. Jupiter's influence softens the sting of the Sun's debilitation, helping you approach relationships and decisions with greater compassion and perspective. This supportive energy makes it an ideal time to focus on healing, forgiveness, and personal growth. Financially, since the Sun governs your 2nd house, income may fluctuate, particularly during the first half of the transit. Unexpected household expenses or property repairs could arise. Avoid large financial commitments until after November 2nd, when Venus regains strength and the Sun's debilitation begins to lift. Post that date, stability gradually returns, and you might even benefit from property gains or improved financial cooperation within the family. Jupiter's supportive aspect also brings steady progress and potential expansion in family wealth over the coming months. Health-wise, since the 4th house governs the chest and emotional heart, pay attention to stress and sleep quality. The Sun's weakness can slightly reduce vitality or immunity, so balancing rest, diet, and mental peace is essential. By the second half of the transit, as Venus strengthens and Jupiter blesses your 1st house, emotional clouds begin to clear. Family ties feel warmer, your environment becomes more harmonious, and confidence naturally returns. You may reconnect with loved ones in deeper ways, understanding each other's emotional languages more clearly. Property or home-related matters that felt delayed may now progress smoothly. Spiritually, you gain a new awareness of what truly sustains your happiness, peace that stems from self-acceptance rather than external validation. Ultimately, the Sun's transit through Libra for Cancer 1st house is a period of inner realignment and emotional rebirth. The early phase tests your endurance, humility, and emotional control, especially as pride or sensitivity could cloud judgment. Yet the lessons of this transit are profound, finding balance between care and detachment, leadership and empathy, self-respect and humility. By early November, as Venus restores harmony and Jupiter uplifts your spirit, you emerge stronger, wiser, and emotionally centered. For Leo, the Sun is the ruler of your first house, representing your core identity, vitality, personality, and overall direction in life. As the Sun transits Libra, its sign of debilitation, it moves through your third house, the domain of courage, communication, siblings, short travels, self-effort, and personal willpower. This transit period is significant because it can temporarily challenge your confidence and focus, yet also become a time of growth if approached with awareness. The third house governs initiative and determination, but since Libra is a sign of balance and diplomacy, you might find yourself reevaluating how you express your energy and assertiveness. Instead of rushing forward with bold decisions, this period encourages you to communicate with more tact, listen to others' perspectives, and refine how you use your personal power. Because the Sun is debilitated in Libra, this transit may bring moments of self-doubt or reduced enthusiasm. You might feel that your efforts are not being recognized or that your confidence dips slightly when trying to assert your ideas. It is important to understand that this is not a permanent condition, but a reminder to pause and adjust your methods. The Sun in Libra asks you to focus more on cooperation rather than dominance, a lesson that can be challenging for the fiery Leo, who is naturally inclined toward leadership and visibility. You may need to adapt to situations where teamwork and diplomacy take priority over personal authority. This is an excellent time to refine your communication skills, especially in professional and creative settings. The way you express yourself will determine how effectively you navigate the challenges of this phase. During this transit, the Sun will be conjunct Mars and Mercury in Libra. This combination creates a dynamic yet tense atmosphere. Mars, your 4th and 9th house lord, infuses energy and passion into your communication but can also make your tone harsh or impatient if not balanced properly. You may feel driven to act or speak out impulsively, but the Sun's debilitation can blur clarity, leading to misunderstandings or overreactions. Mercury's presence adds intelligence and quick thinking, but it also amplifies mental restlessness. You might experience heightened mental activity, fluctuating focus, or even indecision as you try to balance logic with passion. The key here is mindfulness. Channel this mental and physical energy into constructive action, such as writing, learning, or strategizing for future projects. Avoid taking impulsive risks or getting into unnecessary arguments, especially with siblings, colleagues, or neighbors. The presence of Ketu in your sign, Leo, adds another layer of complexity. Ketu represents detachment, spirituality, and introspection, and as it passes through your first house, it pulls your energy inward. While the Sun, your ruling planet, seeks recognition and external validation, Ketu's influence can make you feel less connected to worldly ambition or personal desires during this period. You may find yourself questioning your direction, purpose, or the value of your efforts. This tension can manifest as a temporary identity crisis or withdrawal from active participation in daily affairs. It also opens a door to deeper spiritual awareness and self-realization. You may realize that your strength lies not only in leadership but in self-mastery. Learning to let go of excessive control and embracing humility can bring immense growth now. While you're feeling more introspective due to Ketu's influence, Rahu in the 7th pushes you to deal with external dynamics that test your patience. Relationships might mirror back your confusion, highlighting areas that need balance. Professional alliances, contracts, or one-on-one partnerships may demand clarity. It's essential to remain calm and not let ego conflicts affect your relationships. The Sun's debilitation emphasizes cooperation, so the more flexible and understanding you are, the better outcomes you'll experience. Venus, the ruler of Libra, is initially debilitated in Virgo, your 2nd house, during this transit. Since Venus governs your 3rd house of communication and 10th house of career, this debilitation can affect both speech and professional confidence early in the month. You might feel underappreciated at work, or financial decisions may not bring instant satisfaction. Communication with family could feel strained, especially if money or ego matters are involved. This situation begins to improve gradually as Mercury in Libra and Venus in Virgo form a sign exchange, Parivartana Yoga. This exchange softens the negative effects and helps restore rationality and understanding in your communication. Despite the Sun and Venus both being weak, this yoga can produce meaningful breakthroughs, allowing you to express yourself intelligently and diplomatically, even in tense situations. A major positive shift occurs on October 18th when Jupiter enters Cancer, your 12th house. This is a deeply spiritual placement, one that helps calm the turbulence you've been feeling internally. It encourages introspection and helps you connect with your inner peace. you may find inspiration through meditation, travel, or solitude. Although Jupiter in the 12th emphasizes letting go, it simultaneously enhances spiritual wisdom, compassion, and faith in life's process. Meanwhile, Saturn retrogrades through Pisces, your 8th house, reinforcing the theme of transformation and emotional depth. Saturn here compels you to face your fears, release old patterns, and take responsibility for areas of your life that you've been avoiding. This, combined with the Sun's movement through the 3rd house, suggests a period of disciplined effort, where your mental stamina and determination will be tested. You may have to deal with work that requires patience and persistence rather than instant rewards. Saturn retrograde in the 8th also indicates hidden responsibilities or family matters that need your attention. As the month unfolds, the intensity begins to ease. Mercury moves to Scorpio on October 24th, followed by Mars on October 27th, both entering your 4th house. This shift draws your attention toward emotional stability, home life, and inner peace. You may desire solitude or time to reconnect with your roots. It's a good period for working behind the scenes, reorganizing your personal space, or strengthening family relationships. On November 2nd, Venus finally enters Libra, its own sign, and joins the Sun. This is a turning point that lifts much of the earlier pressure. When Venus becomes strong, the 3rd house gains charm, grace, and positivity. Your communication becomes more effective, and you regain your natural charisma. Creative projects flourish, and relationships with siblings or colleagues begin to improve. The earlier conflicts start dissolving, and you find renewed confidence in expressing yourself. The Sun, even though debilitated, now gains strength through association with its strong dispositor Venus. By early November, you'll feel much lighter and clearer about your goals. If you've been planning to launch a creative venture, start a writing project, or connect with new people, this is an auspicious time. Overall, the Sun's transit through Libra for Leo individuals is a period of self-refinement and emotional maturity. The initial phase may test your patience, communication, and confidence, but it ultimately helps you evolve into a more balanced version of yourself. You'll learn the value of humility, cooperation, and mindful speech. By the end of this transit, you'll emerge more self-aware, spiritually grounded, and ready to express your strength from a place of calm conviction rather than assertion. For Virgo, the Sun governs the 12th house, the sector connected to foreign lands, expenses, solitude, spiritual growth, and subconscious patterns. When the Sun transits through Libra, your 2nd house of wealth, speech, values, and family, it brings focus to financial management, emotional security, and self-worth. Since Libra is the sign of the Sun's debilitation, this is not the strongest position for the Sun to operate in materially. You may experience temporary instability or self-doubt in matters related to money, possessions, or family dynamics. The 12th Lord transiting the 2nd house also connects themes of gain and loss, asking you to reevaluate your priorities, what truly gives you a sense of security versus what merely sustains your ego. This period can bring fluctuations in income or expenses, especially if you are dealing with foreign clients, distant projects, or long-term investments. You may feel compelled to spend on family matters, home repairs, or spiritual needs, but it's important to stay mindful of your budget. Since the Sun is weak by debilitation, impulsive financial decisions could lead to unnecessary strain. Yet this same transit also holds potential for spiritual evolution and self-awareness. You might begin to see your material patterns more clearly, how your sense of worth is tied to money or recognition. The Sun in Libra encourages you to find balance between giving and receiving, between your inner peace and your external security. The conjunction of Mars and Mercury with the Sun in Libra makes this transit more eventful and mentally charged. Mars brings action and energy, while Mercury adds analytical thought and communication skills. Since Mercury is your 1st house ruler and Mars is a functional malefic for Virgo, their conjunction with the debilitated Sun may create mental restlessness, arguments, or impulsive speech. Be especially cautious with how you communicate during this time. You may feel an urge to speak out bluntly, especially on family or financial matters, but others might misunderstand your tone or intent. It's best to think twice before reacting, particularly in professional discussions or family debates. The power of words is strong now, but so is the risk of miscommunication. Mercury's movement into Scorpio on October 24th marks a turning point. Scorpio represents your 3rd house, the area of communication, courage, and short travels. Once Mercury leaves Libra, your ability to express yourself becomes sharper and more focused. You'll notice a shift in your mental clarity. Where confusion or hesitation existed earlier, you will now find deeper insight and conviction. Mars will also move into Scorpio on October 27th, reinforcing courage and assertiveness. Venus, the ruler of Libra and dispositor of this transit, plays an important role. Venus begins its journey in Virgo, where it is debilitated, making the early phase of this Sun transit somewhat delicate. Since Venus represents both the 2nd and 9th houses for Virgo individuals, its weakness initially can create emotional distance in family relationships and financial strain or dissatisfaction. You might feel unappreciated or undervalued by loved ones, and efforts to express affection may not yield immediate warmth. On the professional side, your work may not bring the recognition you desire right away. Venus and Mercury form a sign exchange, Parivartana Yoga, during this time, softening the challenges. This mutual exchange enhances communication and helps you find balance between logic and emotions. Even if relationships seem strained, talking things out calmly will help bridge misunderstandings. The situation improves significantly after November 2nd, when Venus enters Libra, its own sign, joining the Sun. This is when the 2nd house energy stabilizes and becomes more harmonious. Financial matters will start flowing smoothly, and opportunities for gain may arise through family, partnerships, or creative pursuits. You may also feel emotionally lighter and more connected to your loved ones. Your speech becomes more graceful and persuasive, making it easier to mend strained relationships. For those working in artistic, financial, or communication-related fields, this period can bring a fresh wave of inspiration and stability. The earlier confusion or misalignment gives way to renewed confidence and charm. Jupiter's transit into Cancer on October 18th further strengthens this period for Virgo individuals. Cancer rules your 11th house, the domain of gains, social connections, and long-term aspirations. Jupiter's exaltation here brings expansion in your network, support from influential people, and increased optimism about your goals. This benefic influence can offset some of the tension caused by the Sun's debilitation, ensuring that your efforts still lead to progress in the long run. Meanwhile, Saturn continues its retrograde in Pisces, your 7th house, creating ongoing introspection in relationships and partnerships. This retrograde phase encourages you to review commitments, contracts, and one-on-one connections. Since Saturn aspects your 9th house of faith and higher learning, as well as your 4th house of peace, there's a sense of emotional maturation occurring beneath the surface. You may find yourself questioning your boundaries, expectations, and long-term relationship goals. Combined with the Sun's transit through the 2nd house, these reflections help you understand which relationships are rooted in genuine emotional values and which are transactional or draining. During this time, family dynamics might also be under review. You may need to take responsibility for resolving old misunderstandings or emotional wounds. The debilitated Sun can highlight issues related to self-worth or family pride, so avoid confrontational attitudes. Instead, approach matters with patience and humility. Jupiter's blessings ensure that honest communication eventually brings healing. You might also notice that spiritual or introspective practices like meditation or journaling bring you greater clarity about your emotional needs. Another subtle but powerful theme during this period is the connection between your 12th and 2nd houses, both of which deal with endings and beginnings, loss and gain. You may be clearing karmic debts related to finances or family. Some may decide to let go of old possessions or outdated emotional patterns. For others, there could be expenses related to family or a need to support a relative. These shifts, though challenging initially, make way for new sources of abundance and inner peace. By late October and early November, when Venus regains its dignity and Mercury and Mars move to Scorpio, you'll feel much more grounded and self-assured. Your communication will be sharper, finances steadier, and emotional world more balanced. Professionally, this is when you can make tangible progress, especially if your work involves teaching, consulting, or client relations. Relationships will also begin to heal as affection and understanding return. Overall, the Sun's transit in Libra for Virgo individuals is a lesson in value, both material and emotional. The early phase may feel draining due to the simultaneous debilitation of the Sun and Venus, leading to misunderstandings, overthinking, or self-doubt. But this is a temporary period meant to help you redefine your relationship with wealth, speech, and self-esteem. Once Venus moves into Libra, clarity and comfort return, supported by Jupiter's exalted blessings. Saturn's retrograde ensures that these lessons are lasting and mature. By the end of this transit, you will emerge wiser about how to manage your resources, express your emotions more harmoniously, and value yourself beyond external validation. For Libra, the Sun rules the 11th house, the domain of gains, ambitions, achievements, social networks, and fulfillment of desires. When this 11th Lord transits your 1st house in Libra, the sign of your 1st house, the spotlight turns toward your individuality and how you express yourself to the world. This transit highlights personal goals, self-image, and your relationship with recognition. Yet since the Sun is debilitated in Libra, its usual brilliance feels subdued. You may crave validation and success but feel uncertain about asserting authority or taking initiative. The Sun in Libra seeks diplomacy and balance rather than dominance, making your self-expression graceful but cautious. This is a period of self-awareness and introspection, a time to refine how you project confidence while maintaining harmony. At the start of the transit, shifts in energy and motivation become noticeable. The Sun, usually a symbol of vitality and willpower, now encourages reflection rather than direct action. Instead of rushing forward, you're urged to pause and evaluate your approach. You may oscillate between wanting independence and needing approval. Because the Sun governs your 11th house, its debilitation can bring brief slowdowns in recognition, teamwork, or professional rewards. It may feel like your efforts go unseen or delayed. Yet this is not failure, it's an invitation to refine your methods and develop calm assertiveness. The lesson lies in humility, patience, and learning to lead without overpowering others. The presence of Mars and Mercury alongside the Sun in Libra makes this a stimulating period. Mars adds courage and passion to your personality, while Mercury sharpens intellect and communication. Together, they make you articulate, ambitious, and eager to take initiative. You may feel driven to assert ideas, take charge, or negotiate confidently. The debilitated Sun can cause internal conflict between boldness and restraint. You want to act and lead but also maintain peace. This tension might surface as defensiveness or self-doubt. To avoid friction, remain tactful and avoid impulsive decisions. Libra's air element supports diplomacy. Use it to channel confidence gracefully. When Mercury moves into Scorpio on October 24th, clarity begins to return. Scorpio rules your second house of speech, finances, and stability, allowing communication to gain purpose and emotional depth. You express yourself with conviction rather than haste, and financial matters come into sharper focus. This is an excellent time for managing resources, contracts, and practical planning. Shortly after, Mars enters Scorpio on October 27th, energizing the same sector. This placement strengthens your determination to build stability and material growth through effort and persistence. Actions taken now yield long-term benefits, provided you stay strategic and patient. The tone of early October is also shaped by Venus, your sign lord, which begins in Virgo, where it is debilitated. The simultaneous weakness of both Venus and the Sun can bring temporary emotional unease or relationship imbalances. You may become more critical of yourself or sensitive to others' opinions. Relationships could feel strained or misaligned. As Venus also rules your 8th house, this phase can deepen emotional vulnerability or overthinking. Yet there's a saving grace. A Parivartana yoga forms between Venus and Mercury, linking Virgo and Libra. This exchange fosters healing through clear dialogue and understanding. Open communication can resolve tension, helping you maintain balance even when emotions run high. A major turning point arrives on November 2nd, when Venus moves into Libra, its own sign, and joins the Sun. This restores your charm, grace, and self-confidence. The earlier heaviness lifts, replaced by renewed poise and magnetism. Relationships begin to harmonize, and you reconnect with your inner strength. Professionally, your presence becomes more appealing and influential, drawing support and opportunities. Creative projects and partnerships flourish, and your ability to mediate and lead with compassion shines. With Venus strong again, your first house regains vitality and balance, bringing both personal satisfaction and outer success. Meanwhile, Jupiter's exalted transit through Cancer, beginning October 18th, adds powerful support to your career. Cancer rules your 10th house of reputation, profession, and status. Jupiter's exaltation here promises recognition, expansion, and wise decision-making. Even if the debilitated Sun causes initial uncertainty, Jupiter ensures progress and stability. You may receive encouragement from mentors or higher authorities, helping you align ambition with purpose. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, your 6th house of work, health, and discipline, brings introspection about responsibilities and self-management. Retrograde Saturn pushes you to examine how you handle pressure, organization, and competition. It also aspects your 8th and 12th houses, inviting deeper emotional awareness and the need to balance effort with rest. Avoid overworking or judging yourself too harshly. This is a phase of quiet restructuring, not punishment. With Saturn retrograde, steady progress and patience matter more than immediate results. The Sun's temporary weakness may test your self-belief, but Saturn's lessons reinforce endurance and grounded maturity. Health deserves attention as well. The Sun in the first house governs vitality, and when debilitated, it can bring fatigue, stress, or mood fluctuations. It's vital to pace yourself and maintain wellness routines that restore balance. Mars's presence might heighten restlessness or impatience, so moderation is essential. Avoid pushing beyond limits just to prove capability. Once Venus strengthens in November, you'll notice renewed vitality, emotional calm, and motivation. On a deeper level, this transit symbolizes personal transformation. The Sun in Libra reminds you that true power arises not from dominance, but from authenticity and composure. It encourages leading with empathy and fairness. You may become more selective in friendships or social connections, releasing dynamics that no longer align with your values. Though such changes might feel unsettling, Jupiter's exaltation ensures that genuine and supportive connections soon replace the superficial ones. As November unfolds, you regain balance and direction. Venus's return to Libra amplifies your natural charm and diplomacy, helping you attract opportunities and ease tension in relationships. Finances stabilize through Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, while Jupiter's strength uplifts your professional and public image. You move from introspection to confident progress. Overall, the Sun's transit through Libra for Libra individuals is a deeply transformative cycle. It begins with uncertainty but ends in renewal and empowerment. The early phase, marked by the Sun and Venus's debilitation, may test confidence and emotional resilience. Yet these challenges act as catalysts for growth, teaching balance and authenticity. With Venus returning home and Jupiter exalted, your confidence, relationships, and professional standing all rise. By late November, your self-image feels renewed, your path clearer, and your confidence restored, allowing you to move forward with grace, wisdom, and harmony. For Scorpio, the Sun governs the 10th house, the sector connected with career, reputation, public image, and achievements. When the planet of power and recognition moves through Libra, your 12th house of isolation, spirituality, and foreign connections, it initiates a cycle of introspection and quiet transformation. Since Libra is the Sun's sign of debilitation, its energy here is subdued, drawing attention inward rather than outward. This is a period of self-reflection, withdrawal, and subtle realignment. At the start of this transit, you might feel detached from work matters or less motivated to assert authority. The 10th Lord in the 12th often indicates a temporary pause or need for reorganization rather than direct progress. You may sense that your efforts are unnoticed or delayed, or that outer success feels elusive. This is not a setback but a gestation period. The 12th house rules hidden progress and closure, the unseen groundwork that prepares you for new beginnings. Use this time for rest, creative retreat, or quiet strategic planning. For Scorpios working in foreign lands, global industries, or creative and healing professions, opportunities still exist but manifest subtly. The Sun's conjunction with Mars and Mercury in Libra intensifies this otherwise tranquil phase. Mars, your sign ruler, infuses drive and ambition, while Mercury contributes intellect and sharp perception. Together, they create mental restlessness and the urge to act decisively, even when patience would serve you better. You may feel torn between your desire to advance and uncertainty about timing or direction. This combination can lead to impulsive decisions or frustration if you push too hard. Yet when directed constructively, it stimulates brilliant insights, research breakthroughs, or creative problem-solving. Meditation, journaling, or working behind the scenes allows you to harness this energy with focus rather than stress. A major shift occurs on October 24th, when Mercury enters Scorpio, your first house. Clarity and confidence begin to return as mental fog lifts. You'll find it easier to express ideas, analyze complex situations, and assert yourself effectively. Soon after, on October 27th, Mars, your sign ruler, also moves into Scorpio, marking a powerful resurgence of strength. Mars in its own sign restores vitality, determination, and personal authority. You feel re-energized and ready to take action after weeks of introspection. What once seemed stalled now begins to move forward decisively. This period favors new beginnings, leadership, and self-assertion, especially in career or creative pursuits. The early portion of this transit is shaped by Venus's condition. Venus, ruler of Libra, begins its journey in Virgo, its sign of debilitation. With both the Sun and Venus weakened, emotions, relationships, and self-confidence may feel unsettled. Venus governs your 7th and 12th houses, representing partnerships, foreign ties, and emotional depth. When afflicted, it can create misunderstandings or feelings of isolation. You may overanalyze situations or struggle to express affection. The balance between ego, Sun, and empathy, Venus, can waver, leading to temporary emotional fatigue or creative stagnation. Fortunately, a Parivartana Yoga, sign exchange, forms between Venus in Virgo and Mercury in Libra, bringing balance through communication. Rational discussion becomes the key to resolving friction. This exchange supports productivity in analytical, diplomatic, or creative work, even if satisfaction feels delayed. Behind the surface, growth is quietly taking place, helping you build emotional clarity and practical wisdom. A significant turning point arrives on November 2nd, when Venus enters Libra, its own sign, and joins the Sun. This marks a beautiful restoration of balance and charm. Venus regaining dignity strengthens emotional well-being, partnerships, and finances. For many Scorpios, this period brings a sense of calm after confusion. Since Venus also rules your 12th house, it can bring positive experiences connected to foreign travel, spiritual contentment, or artistic inspiration. The Sun-Venus conjunction in Libra harmonizes heart and mind, helping you regain peace, confidence, and creative flow. If you've felt underappreciated professionally, your efforts begin to receive recognition as Venus enhances visibility and grace. Meanwhile, Jupiter's exaltation in Cancer, beginning October 18th, provides a stabilizing and fortunate influence. Cancer governs your 9th house, the area of higher knowledge, faith, and destiny. Jupiter's placement here uplifts your spirit, reminding you that this is a time of inner expansion rather than external struggle. It opens doors through mentors, education, and travel, allowing wisdom and timing to align in your favor. Even if the Sun's debilitation brings temporary uncertainty, Jupiter ensures meaningful progress and blessings in the long run. Those involved in teaching, law, writing, or international ventures can benefit particularly from this exalted Jupiter, as it amplifies reputation and insight. Saturn's retrograde motion in Pisces, your 5th house of creativity and emotional expression, adds an introspective undertone. You may reassess personal goals, passions, or creative direction. Saturn retrograde encourages maturity, pushing you to focus on long-term purpose rather than instant gratification. Emotionally, you may feel quieter or more serious, yet this reflection helps redefine what truly fulfills you. Since Saturn aspects your 7th and 11th houses, it also influences partnerships and social dynamics, urging discernment in your associations. This is a time to invest only in relationships or networks that are dependable and aligned with your deeper values. Health-wise, balance and rest are vital. The Sun in the 12th house often signals a need to recharge physically and mentally. Overworking can lead to fatigue or burnout, especially in the first half of the transit. Pay attention to sleep and diet, and avoid unnecessary stress. The 12th house favors restorative practices. Meditation and solitude can replenish vitality. Once Mars and Mercury move into Scorpio, energy levels rebound quickly, bringing renewed focus and motivation. Emotionally, this transit is about release and renewal. The Sun in the 12th house illuminates hidden fears, insecurities, or unresolved attachments. Its debilitation asks you to surrender control and trust divine timing. You're encouraged to let go of outdated ambitions or relationships that no longer resonate with your growth. The more you release, the lighter and freer you feel. Jupiter's exaltation amplifies this inner cleansing, turning solitude into wisdom and clarity. This is an excellent time to deepen spiritual practices or reconnect with faith. By late October and early November, the tone shifts dramatically. The introspective stillness of early October transforms into empowerment as Mars energizes your 1st house and Venus restores harmony. Jupiter blesses your vision, and Mercury brings mental sharpness and eloquence. Professionally, delayed efforts begin to show results. Personally, you feel emotionally grounded and inspired. Relationships improve, and your confidence rises steadily. Overall, the Sun's transit through Libra for Scorpio individuals is a cycle of withdrawal followed by renewal. The early phase, with both the Sun and Venus debilitated, may feel confusing or slow, yet it encourages you to rest, release, and realign priorities. The latter half, strengthened by Venus's return to Libra and Mars's entry into Scorpio, rekindles your vitality and direction. By the end of this period, you emerge stronger, wiser, and emotionally centered. For Sagittarius, the Sun governs your 9th house, the domain of luck, destiny, higher learning, travel, and spiritual growth. When the 9th Lord Sun transits Libra, your 11th house of gains, ambitions, and social circles, it activates the material side of fortune. But since Libra is the Sun's sign of debilitation, confidence and recognition may feel reduced. This period calls for humility, teamwork, and patience rather than dominance or quick results. The 11th house is the house of outcomes. The Sun here shows that past efforts start bearing fruit, though results may take time or appear subtler than expected. Still, This transit lays the foundation for long-term growth if handled with balance and awareness. Initially, as the Sun enters Libra, you might feel uncertain about achievements or social validation. The debilitated ninth lord may bring doubt about whether your goals truly align with your purpose or if your circle genuinely supports you. Professionally, this can lead to ego clashes or minor misunderstandings with peers or seniors. Recognition may feel delayed despite consistent effort. The key is to shift focus from external validation to inner contribution. Libra represents diplomacy. Success now comes through cooperation, shared credit, and balanced communication. This transit also invites reflection on long-term aspirations. The 11th house represents future ambitions, and the debilitated Sun questions whether your pursuits serve your higher calling, 9th house. If driven solely by ego or material desire, dissatisfaction may follow, pushing you to seek deeper meaning. You may reconnect with mentors or communities that inspire a renewed sense of purpose. For those in business, teaching, politics, or media, the early part of this transit may bring delays or confusion, but also opportunities to refine strategies and build genuine alliances. The Sun's conjunction with Mars and Mercury in Libra energizes your social and professional life. Mars, ruler of your 5th and 12th houses, adds drive and creativity, while Mercury, ruler of the 7th and 10th, enhances communication and strategic thinking. Together, these planets heighten ambition but can also spark restlessness or ego clashes. Since the Sun is debilitated, impulsive actions or prideful decisions may backfire. The best approach is to channel this energy into networking, teamwork, and creative projects while avoiding unnecessary competition or conflicts. Balance between independence, Mars, and diplomacy, Libra, is essential. Mercury's move into Scorpio on October 24th shifts focus inward. As it enters your 12th house, your thoughts become more introspective and strategic. You may prefer working behind the scenes or engaging in research, writing, or planning. Social activity might reduce temporarily, but intuition and creativity heighten. You begin seeing the deeper meaning behind recent events and may realign long-term goals in solitude. Soon after, Mars moves into Scorpio on October 27th, its own sign, joining Mercury in your 12th house. This intensifies your inner strength and focus, enabling major transformation. It strengthens your ability to cut through distractions and focus on essentials. Spiritually, this is a powerful phase for self-reflection, healing, and releasing emotional baggage. It can also disturb sleep or increase emotional intensity if you resist introspection. At the start of this Sun transit, Venus, Libra's ruler, is in Virgo, its sign of debilitation. Both Venus, Libra's lord, and the Sun being weak can bring instability in finances, relationships, and emotional harmony. For Sagittarius individuals, Venus rules the 6th and 11th houses, both tied to service, competition, and income. With Venus debilitated, you may face delays in monetary matters or feel underappreciated in work or friendships. There could also be subtle envy or competitiveness in your social circle. Emotionally, you might question whether your efforts are valued or simply taken for granted. Energy begins to stabilize after November 2nd, when Venus enters Libra, its own sign, and joins the Sun. This shift restores charm, diplomacy, and harmony in your personal and professional interactions. You'll notice smoother communication, better teamwork, and improved financial prospects. Business partnerships and collaborations begin yielding tangible results. The Sun-Venus conjunction helps balance confidence with empathy, teaching you to lead gracefully rather than forcefully. Jupiter's entry into Cancer on October 18th adds spiritual depth to this period. As the ruler of your 1st house and 4th house, Jupiter's move into the 8th house brings transformation and inner awakening. Although this house deals with secrets and emotional renewal, Jupiter's exaltation here gives you wisdom, faith, and protection through challenges. During the Sun's debilitated phase, Jupiter's influence acts as a divine safeguard, helping you stay centered despite outer instability. Hidden blessings may emerge from what initially feels like delay or disappointment. Jupiter encourages you to release rigid thinking and adopt a more compassionate, philosophical outlook. Meanwhile, Saturn retrogrades in Pisces, your 4th house of home, emotions, and stability. This may prompt introspection about your emotional foundation, domestic life, or inner peace. Saturn's retrograde aspects on your 10th and 6th houses intensify work pressure but strengthen resilience. Combined with the Sun's debilitation, this emphasizes patience and long-term consistency over short-term rewards. Saturn ensures that only disciplined, sincere efforts yield lasting success now. Health-wise, the Sun's 11th house transit typically doesn't cause major problems, but because it's debilitated and aspects the 5th house, moderation is key. Guard against exhaustion, stress, or digestive issues. Balance work and rest, and avoid overcommitting socially. As Mars and Mercury move into your 12th house, prioritize rest, meditation, and inner recharge to prevent burnout. Emotionally and spiritually, this transit realigns your ambitions with integrity. The debilitated Sun acts as a teacher, humbling the ego and reminding you that success without purpose is hollow. Since the 9th Lord transits the 11th, your gains now depend on sincerity, faith, and ethical conduct. The more you uplift others and operate from a place of authenticity, the more lasting your results will be. By late October and into November, planetary energies harmonize beautifully. Venus regains strength in Libra. What begins as a test of patience and humility evolves into a period of quiet yet steady achievement. Recognition may come slowly, but your progress becomes meaningful and aligned with your true path. Overall, the Sun's transit through Libra for Sagittarius individuals highlights the balance between ambition and humility, leadership and cooperation, and desire and wisdom. The debilitated Sun may initially dim external validation but enhances clarity. As Venus strengthens and Jupiter uplifts your spirit, you rediscover harmony in relationships and renewed confidence in your purpose. By the end of this transit, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more in tune with the people and principles that genuinely support your evolution. For Capricorn, the Sun governs your 8th house, the domain of transformation, secrets, longevity, and deep psychological change. When the 8th Lord transits Libra, your 10th house of career, authority, and public image, it sparks major professional shifts. The 10th house governs visibility and achievements, while the 8th rules hidden processes. Together, they bring behind-the-scenes changes that eventually strengthen your professional foundation. Since Libra is the Sun's debilitation sign, this period may begin with uncertainty around recognition or control. You're being asked to rely on adaptability, patience, and diplomacy instead of force or ego. When the Sun, your 8th Lord, moves through Libra, it highlights the need to balance power and cooperation in your career. Temporary instability, leadership changes, or delays in acknowledgement may occur. You might feel that your contributions go unnoticed or that authority figures are unresponsive. The debilitated Sun often tests your humility and ability to stay grounded while maintaining professionalism. Libra's energy helps you master tact, negotiation, and balance, qualities that ultimately restore your influence and respect at work. For some Capricorns, this phase could bring sudden job changes, restructuring, or shifts in leadership. Since the 8th house governs transformation, these developments, though unexpected, are meant to clear the path for long-term progress. The Sun's placement in the 10th can also heighten your sensitivity to others' opinions. Focus on genuine effort rather than appearances. Your hard work and integrity will be noticed when the time is right. The conjunction of the Sun with Mars and Mercury in Libra intensifies your ambitions and drive. Mars, ruling your 4th and 11th houses, injects passion and competitiveness, while Mercury, ruling your 6th and 9th houses, sharpens communication and planning. This trio can make you highly proactive but also prone to tension or impatience. Ego clashes, power struggles, or conflicts of interest may surface at work. The key is to stay composed, act strategically, and avoid impulsive reactions. Used wisely, this energy helps you implement long-delayed changes and gain visibility through smart collaboration. Mercury's analytical influence adds precision to your words and decisions, but because the Sun is debilitated, assertive communication can be misinterpreted. Practice diplomacy. Listen as much as you speak. When Mercury moves into Scorpio on October 24th, entering your 11th house of gains and networks, your focus turns to long-term growth and strategic alliances. Conversations with mentors, clients, or influential figures become more meaningful. You may revisit old partnerships or explore collaborations that can enhance your financial or social standing. Soon after, Mars moves into Scorpio on October 27th, joining Mercury in the 11th house. Mars here, strong in its own sign, brings renewed momentum, courage, and leadership. Your networking and social influence expand, helping you connect with supportive individuals or groups. You'll feel more determined to achieve your ambitions, though Mars's intensity can also increase competitiveness. Avoid overexertion or stepping on others' toes. Balanced confidence will serve you far better than aggression. At the start of this transit, Venus, ruler of Libra, is debilitated in Virgo. With both Venus and the Sun weak, harmony in relationships and professional creativity might feel off balance. Venus governs your 5th and 10th houses, representing creativity, recognition, and career advancement. You may feel underappreciated or creatively blocked, and projects may move slower than expected. Yet a saving grace exists. Mercury and Venus form a Parivartana Yoga, mutual exchange, between Libra and Virgo, blending intellect with grace. This exchange stabilizes communication, softens conflicts, and helps you handle professional challenges with composure and charm. The energy noticeably improves after November 2nd, when Venus enters Libra, its own sign, and joins the Sun. This shift restores equilibrium and magnetism to your public life. Venus's strength enhances your reputation, creativity, and ability to connect harmoniously with others. Recognition and appreciation return, and career relationships begin to flourish again. The Sun-Venus conjunction supports leadership through diplomacy, helping you regain lost ground and re-establish your credibility. For those in media, design, or leadership, this period can bring visible success and greater public appeal. Meanwhile, Jupiter's entry into Cancer on October 18th sets a deeply supportive background. Ruling your 12th and 3rd houses, Jupiter moves into your 7th house of partnerships and visibility, its sign of exaltation. This placement brings wisdom, stability, and divine support in relationships and collaborations. Jupiter's exalted influence ensures that you attract mentors, advisors, or allies who guide you through career transitions. Business partnerships may blossom, and alliances formed now can lead to long-term growth. For entrepreneurs, this is a favorable time to build client networks or collaborate with like-minded individuals. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, your 3rd house of communication and effort, further emphasizes patience and precision. As your sign lord, Saturn asks you to refine your approach and rethink your methods. Progress may appear slow, but the retrograde phase strengthens discipline and long-term focus. On a deeper psychological level, the Sun's transit through your 10th house activates questions about purpose and professional direction. Since the Sun rules the transformative 8th house, this phase can stir a desire to redefine your career path. You may feel drawn to explore more meaningful, purpose-driven work, or consider a complete change of direction. This is part of the 8th Lord's alchemical energy, the urge to evolve beyond limitations. Major decisions are best postponed until after early November, when Venus strengthens and clarity returns. Financially, the early phase may feel inconsistent due to the debilitated Sun and Venus, bringing delays in payments or income fluctuations. Avoid major financial commitments until mid-November. Once Venus re-enters Libra and Jupiter's exalted energy stabilizes your partnerships, finances improve significantly. Gains through networking, collaborations, or public recognition are likely. For some, past efforts or pending projects finally bring results. Emotionally, the Sun's debilitation can make you self-critical or doubt your abilities. You might feel overshadowed or undervalued by authority figures. The 8th Lord's influence often brings hidden blessings through challenges. Situations that initially seem unfair eventually lead to empowerment and clarity. Use this time for self-reflection, meditation, and detachment from office politics. Cultivating calm helps you see beyond temporary appearances. Overall, the Sun's transit through Libra for Capricorn individuals is a cycle of professional rebirth. The debilitated Sun may initially dim external validation, but it exposes what needs transformation. Through patience, diplomacy, and authenticity, you can rebuild stronger foundations and gain genuine respect. This is a time to lead with wisdom, cooperate rather than compete, and let results unfold naturally. By the end of the transit, you emerge with renewed stability, refined purpose, and deeper emotional strength. For Aquarius, the Sun governs your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, and business associations, and during its transit through Libra, it moves into your 9th house, the house of destiny, higher learning, long-distance travel, and divine blessings. The 9th house is also a trine house, and when the 7th Lord transits here, it brings a blend of karmic connections, destiny-linked relationships, and opportunities that may expand your worldview. Since Libra is the Sun's debilitation sign, this period may initially create challenges or confusion regarding your belief systems, partnerships, and career direction, especially during the first half of the transit when Venus, the ruler of Libra, is debilitated in Virgo. The presence of Mars and Mercury conjunct the Sun in Libra adds intensity and restlessness to this period, stimulating your intellectual and philosophical pursuits, but also testing your patience and decision-making. The 7th Lord Sun in the 9th house indicates that this period will make you reassess your approach to relationships and collaborations. Some Aquarius individuals might experience ideological differences with partners or mentors, especially as the Sun and Mars conjunction tends to bring ego clashes or arguments related to values, faith, or long-term goals. This can also extend to business partnerships, where differences in opinion may arise on matters involving foreign ventures or expansion plans. Since Mars energizes the 9th house, you may feel a strong urge to break free from restrictive routines or explore something beyond your comfort zone, be it in education, career, or even personal life. Sun's debilitation in Libra makes it important to act with balance and diplomacy rather than impulsiveness. The right approach during this period is to listen, reflect, and avoid rigid viewpoints, especially if you're involved in fields like law, teaching, writing, or international business. During the first half of the transit, Venus, the ruler of Libra, will be debilitated in Virgo, which could create temporary friction in relationships and a lack of clarity in career matters. You may feel that others aren't recognizing your efforts, or that external validation is missing. The combination of debilitated Sun and debilitated Venus may lower confidence, or create self-doubt about your direction in life. Financially too, this could bring delays, especially in projects involving foreign clients or travel. Mercury's presence in Libra helps you stay logical and communicative. The sign exchange, Parivartana Yoga, between Mercury in Libra and Venus in Virgo until October 24th creates a subtle balance. Even though both planets are in challenging positions, their mutual exchange gives the power to work through difficulties using intellect and practical reasoning. For students, this could be a good time to review and reframe their academic approach, focusing on refining learning techniques rather than starting something entirely new. On October 18th, Jupiter shifts from Gemini to Cancer, moving into your 6th house. This marks a major energetic shift because Jupiter's transit in Cancer strengthens your ability to deal with competition, work pressure, and health challenges with greater resilience. Its exaltation in Cancer can help you find solutions to workplace conflicts or health-related stress that may have accumulated earlier. Since Jupiter is your 11th and 2nd lord, this shift can enhance income stability and bring new professional opportunities that may seem small initially but hold long-term potential. Around the same time, Saturn continues to retrograde in Pisces, your 2nd house, making you deeply reconsider your long-term financial security and value system. You might feel a need to reevaluate how you handle money, or how your work aligns with your personal values. Saturn's retrograde energy, coupled with Sun's debilitation, indicates that you're being guided to rebuild your foundation slowly rather than rushing into decisions. The transits in the last week of October bring significant improvement. Mercury moves into Scorpio on October 24th, followed by Mars entering Scorpio on October 27th. Both planets shifting into your 10th house of career bring a surge of ambition and focus after a period of uncertainty. The 10th house represents your public image, authority, and professional life, and having both Mercury and Mars here can reignite momentum in career growth. You might receive new offers, responsibilities, or recognition for your skills. The presence of these two strong planets in Scorpio helps you regain confidence and assertiveness, balancing the earlier phase of doubt caused by the debilitated Sun. For those in creative, communication, or technical fields, this shift can bring exciting breakthroughs. On November 2nd, Venus finally enters Libra, its own sign, and joins the Sun, restoring harmony and balance to areas of life that previously felt tense. Venus's strength in Libra will help you smooth over misunderstandings in relationships and open doors for cooperation, travel, and learning. The same relationships or partnerships that felt strained earlier could now become sources of inspiration and mutual understanding. The Sun, even though still in debilitation, receives much-needed support from its dispositor Venus in dignity, allowing its energy to express more harmoniously. This is when you'll begin to notice clarity returning to your plans and confidence rebuilding in your purpose. If you've been seeking mentorship, spiritual guidance, or clarity in your future direction, this is when you may meet the right people or receive important insights. Ketu's presence in Leo, your 7th house, and Rahu in Aquarius, your 1st house, continue to play a subtle but significant role in this dynamic. Rahu in the 1st house often brings heightened ambition and a desire to carve out your unique identity, while Ketu in the 7th encourages detachment from superficial partnerships or dependencies. This combination, alongside the Sun's movement through the 9th house, could manifest as a spiritual awakening or a reevaluation of your life philosophy. You may feel drawn toward learning new belief systems, exploring foreign cultures, or reconnecting with your higher self. The key is to balance ambition with humility. Rahu tends to inflate desires, while the debilitated Sun might make you feel underappreciated. Finding a balance between the two will be the true test of maturity during this phase. Overall, the Sun's transit in Libra will start as a period of introspection and self-correction for Aquarius individuals, but will gradually evolve into a time of renewed vision and forward progress. The first half emphasizes patience, diplomacy, and emotional maturity in partnerships and belief systems, while the latter half rewards persistence with new opportunities in career and education. By early November, as Venus strengthens and other planets shift signs, your confidence, recognition, and sense of purpose will return. Ultimately, this transit helps you realign your goals with your true calling, paving the way for long-term growth both personally and professionally. For Pisces, the Sun governs your 6th house, the house associated with work, service, health, competition, and daily responsibilities. As the Sun transits Libra, it moves into your 8th house, a transformative and deeply introspective part of your horoscope connected to sudden changes, secrets, hidden strengths, psychological depth, inheritance, and spiritual evolution. This is not a light or superficial transit. It activates your subconscious and brings a need to confront what lies beneath the surface. Since Libra is the sign of balance, and the Sun gets debilitated here, you may initially feel emotionally and mentally unsettled. Matters related to work pressure, health, or inner conflicts could demand more attention than usual. The Sun's presence in the 8th house can also indicate temporary disruptions in routine or unexpected developments that push you toward deeper self-understanding. The 8th house represents transformation, so this period often brings hidden truths to light, both within yourself and in your environment. Because the Sun, the planet of vitality and authority, rules your 6th house, this transit can expose suppressed stress or unresolved workplace dynamics. There could be moments of confusion regarding how to handle power struggles, either in professional settings or within personal boundaries. You might sense that colleagues or authority figures are being less transparent, or you may discover information that shifts your understanding of a situation. This can create temporary tension, but ultimately it helps you purge negativity and develop clarity. The Sun's debilitation can lower confidence temporarily, so you must avoid self-doubt or feeling powerless in the face of challenges. Instead, focus on resilience, as this is a transit that strengthens you from the inside out, even if it initially feels uncomfortable. The Sun's conjunction with Mars and Mercury in Libra further intensifies this energy. Mars, your 9th house lord, adds a mix of action and frustration to the 8th house, creating a push and pull between wanting control and being forced to surrender. You may experience bursts of impatience or sudden anger if things don't go according to plan. The 8th house is unpredictable by nature, so flexibility is key. Mercury's involvement adds an analytical touch. Your mind may become hyperactive, trying to decode every situation or understand hidden motives. This combination can make your thoughts restless and your communication intense. Avoid reacting impulsively or saying something in frustration that could later be regretted. The positive side of this trio is that it sharpens your intuition and investigative skills. If you're involved in research, psychology, astrology, healing, or finance, this period can bring deep insights and breakthroughs. During the early part of this transit, Venus, the ruler of Libra, remains debilitated in Virgo, your 7th house. This weakens the dispositor of the Sun and can initially bring friction in relationships and partnerships. There may be misunderstandings or emotional distance with a spouse, partner, or close associate. Financial decisions connected to shared resources or investments might also feel uncertain. Since both Sun and Venus are debilitated simultaneously, balance becomes essential. It's easy to feel unappreciated or disconnected, but the situation will not remain this way for long. Fortunately, the sign exchange, Parivartana Yoga, between Mercury in Libra and Venus in Virgo creates a hidden blessing. It offers the mental clarity and logical perspective needed to handle sensitive matters with diplomacy. Even though both planets are in challenging signs, their exchange mitigates some negativity and helps you approach situations with intelligence and patience. On October 18th, a major shift occurs as Jupiter, your ruling planet, moves from Gemini into Cancer, entering your 5th house. This transition brings a much-needed wave of optimism, faith, and emotional rejuvenation. Jupiter's entry into Cancer, its sign of exaltation, strengthens your creative intelligence, confidence, and spiritual awareness. It supports emotional healing and enhances your ability to see the bigger picture amid temporary chaos. While the Sun continues its journey through the intense 8th house, Jupiter's exaltation serves as a guiding light, reminding you that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. This transit also improves your relationship with children or creative projects, giving you a new source of joy or motivation. Jupiter's influence over your 1st house helps stabilize the emotional turbulence caused by the Sun's debilitation, helping you handle stress with greater maturity and faith. Meanwhile, Saturn continues its retrograde motion in Pisces, your own sign. This adds another layer of introspection to your experience. Saturn retrograde often brings self-evaluation. It makes you face long-term patterns, responsibilities, and fears that you've avoided. Combined with the Sun's 8th house transit, this becomes a period of deep internal restructuring. You may feel a bit withdrawn, craving solitude to process what's unfolding. This is not a time for quick decisions or rushing into commitments. Instead, Saturn's influence helps you rebuild discipline and emotional resilience from the ground up. You may also revisit personal boundaries or commitments that need redefining. As the month progresses, relief gradually enters the picture. Mercury shifts into Scorpio on October 24th, followed by Mars on October 27th. Both planets moving into your 9th house bring fresh energy and perspective. The 9th house represents wisdom, belief systems, and expansion, so this shift pulls your attention away from inner struggles toward broader understanding. You may feel motivated to learn something new, travel, or connect with people from different backgrounds. Mentorship or spiritual guidance could play a role in realigning your purpose. This movement also helps ease communication and focus, making it easier to plan for the future rather than dwell on past worries. Your motivation begins to return, and you may notice your confidence rebuilding slowly but steadily. Then, on November 2nd, Venus enters Libra, its own sign, and joins the Sun in the 8th house. This marks the turning point of the entire transit. When Venus becomes strong, it restores harmony and softens the intensity of the earlier weeks. Emotional and relationship matters start improving, and you may experience reconciliation or renewed understanding with loved ones. Financially, this can bring relief, especially if you've faced issues related to debts, taxes, or shared resources. Venus's presence also enhances your intuition and charm, making this an ideal period for healing and regaining balance. The Sun, though still technically debilitated, benefits greatly from its dispositor being strong in its own sign. You'll start noticing that things which seemed confusing or heavy earlier begin to make sense. Spiritually, this is a beautiful phase for meditation, self-reflection, and releasing old emotional baggage. Overall, the Sun's transit through Libra for Pisces individuals represents a journey of inner purification and emotional transformation. The first half of this period may feel heavy, confusing, or isolating due to the Sun and Venus being debilitated and the emphasis on the 8th house's hidden realms. But as the planetary picture evolves, light begins to filter through the shadows. By early November, clarity returns, and you emerge from this phase with greater strength, awareness, and wisdom. This is a powerful cycle for spiritual awakening, emotional release, and regeneration. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the sidereal zodiac system used in Vedic astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions, and outcomes will vary depending on your individual birth chart. The influence of transits is deeply shaped by your ongoing dasha periods and the specific placement of planets in your natal chart. What may be a time of progress for one person could mark a period of reflection or challenge for another. This is why it's essential to interpret transits within the context of your unique chart. If you're seeking a more personalized understanding of how current transits may impact you, or if you have specific questions about your birth chart, feel free to reach out to us. If you found this content helpful, please consider liking the video, sharing it with others who may benefit, and subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Thank you for watching. We look forward to continuing to share deeper astrological insights with you. Until next time, stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.